talk to me a little bit about what you're doing at 3 Points. You know, this weekend. It's when I first heard it, I was like, oh, I know what that is, and then I read a little deeper, and I was like, wait a minute.
I don't know what that is.
This is something very different. So talk to us a little bit about that and how'd you get there?
Yeah, so what I'm doing this weekend at 3 Points is I'm taking a movie called 36 Chambers, the Shaolin, and I'm gonna rescore it live. So what that means is that I was able to get the original film from Celestial Pictures, take out all the music, all right? And now I'm gonna add the music to the scenes as I feel fit. And of course, you know, that movie inspired me a lot, but this time I'm gonna be adding hip hop music to some of the Kung Fu fighting sequences and just vibing out, you know? And it's like basically telling the story through music.
The movie has a big influence on you, as we all know through the records, and now I think a younger generation may do their homework and do their research and find out, you know, why it was important to you. I've heard you speak before that it was influential at even different parts of your life as you grew and you matured or whatever, and you would watch the movie again, you'd find something different or something new. Why do you think it's relevant to a young person or a young group of people that might be out there today?
I think, you know, film got the power to translate and transmit a lot of information over the course of 2 hours. And this film follows a struggling young man who's being oppressed by the government. He's in college, you know, so he's studying to be a student or have a career. And what happens is he ends up having to flee home, family destroyed, and find a way to stand up for righteousness. And through that struggle of him trying to stand up for righteousness, he also has to find himself. And I think that as young people, we all go through that. There's a phase of life, you know, I did this the other day at DC, and we had some Howard University students come in and enjoy it. And they enjoyed it for all those reasons. One, they resonated with the young college student, feeling a little different in the world and finding themselves. Two, they resonated with the Kung Fu, the martial arts, self-discipline, building yourself up. Three, they definitely resonated with the music that was now put underneath it. So it didn't feel like the movie was old. It felt fresh. And I think that's important. You know, movies are a way of giving us education. You know, some people are like, yo, you got the book? No, I ain't got the book, but I saw the movie. You know what I mean? If you didn't read Malcolm X's autobiography, you watched the Malcolm X movie, right? So, and this film really takes you back to Shaolin, a temple that was built over 1,500 years ago, been burnt down multiple times by the government, and then rebuilt again, though. You know, the spirit never died. And if you think about, you know, like America, we have a big taekwondo, karate, you know, these type of things that, you know, that's in our country. A lot of those schools wouldn't even exist if Shaolin wasn't that temple that actually gathered all the martial art ideas and kept it in one place.
I'm gonna get into some of her questions here a little bit. So this is more about like the hip hop culture, kind of the way it is now, right? Good. That's all good. Good. You weren't answering that. So the way hip hop artists get discovered and put their music out now, obviously completely different from when you guys had to do it. Social media streaming is the avenues, right? And you kind of get exposed to them through their social media and what they're willing to share with you. If you had an opportunity, say social media was around when you were 14 or 15 and getting inspired by music, what were some of the artists you think would be like your favorite follows in IG, right?
Like somebody that I would follow?
Yeah, or you would love to be like, man, I wish I knew what Slick Rigg's IG was gonna be, his feed,
right.
or Rakim's, or Cold Crush Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up loving, you know, hip hop, and in the prime for me, the most inspiration came like 86, 87, 88. So that's Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, of course, KRS-One, Cool G Rap. Those were lyrical pioneers. In my view. Slick Rick, of course, one of the best storytelling MCs of all time. But then, you know, I'm a New Yorker, so in New York, you know, even at the tender age of 7 years old, I'm at a block party and there's a DJ on the wheels of steel and there's an MC. You know, I mean, this is early as 1976. So I got a chance to hear hip hop maybe when only 500 people knew how to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But to think that if we had social media then, I think it would have accelerated the culture faster because that's what social media does. It accelerates things faster. But one thing about it though that I think that hip hop needed that it didn't, that social media takes away from it, is the mystique of it. You know what I mean? And the mystique of it is also just as important, you know, discovery. So it's okay to be discovered through your social media, and you know these artists will get up there. You may know his age, his girlfriend, his address, everything. But I remember, you know, I didn't know how old Slick Rick was. They said he was from London. Like the myth of him was strong, and it caused us to kind of pursue the information. So it's, you know, it goes both ways. But I'm just glad that hip hop is permeating culture itself. And I'm actually proud of these young artists who've taken something that I've seen grow myself from a plant, you know what I mean, to an orchard.
Speaking of the young guys, most recently Kendrick with a Pulitzer surprise.
Wow, yeah.
Like what I mean, his nickname his self-name Kung Fu Kenny. I don't know if it's directly involved or whatever, but you guys are all directly involved with these young guys. I mean, without you guys, there's no these guys. So Pulitzer surprise, it's obviously led to a massive culture shift, right? Where it's being recognized. I mean, would you ever see that happening?
Yeah. I mean, I think that, first of all, congratulations to Kendrick, and I'm glad that of the artists who exist nowadays, you know, I think his lyrical content and his lyrical approach is definitely one of the strongest out there. So I'm glad that he gets to get that prize and set the bar for the future. And yet I come from a generation of lyricists, you know what I mean? A generation where you could listen to Melly Mel. He said, a child is born with no state of mind, and he's blind to the ways of mankind. God smiling on you, but he's frowning too, because only God knows what you've been through. So those 4 lines alone are almost like a Bible verse, you know what I mean? Or Raekwon, I grew up on the crime side, the New York Times side, but staying alive was no job. So I'm just glad that, that our culture in America is recognizing what hip hop culture is bringing to the culture. You know, it is an American culture. It's founded here, and it should be awarded, respected, and given the accolades it deserves, because some of the best talent is coming through that form. Some of the best writing. You know, Rakim, follow the leader. What would you say when the earth gets further and further away and planets seem small like balls of clay and you stray into the Milky Way, far as out of sight? You know, say you couldn't even see a satellite, right? But then you suddenly see you better follow it, because, you suddenly see a star, you better follow it, because it's the R. So you're looking at a guy who took you all the way through space and within 6 lines. Or I have a lyric that's called the pre-existence of the mathematical biochemical equation is the manifestation of rock, plant, air, fire, and water, which are in the basic formation, solid, liquid, and gases that cause the land masses and the space catalyst, or all matter that exists. That's within 4 lines. You get in an esoteric, scientific expression of the universe. So hip-hop has been that. And now that the academics are recognizing it, it's past due, but we take our hat off and we salute that it's happening, and we salute Kendrick Lamar as being the first one to get that award.
Record store day tomorrow.
I know, man.
like that's
no, it's like 420, record store day. It's like, this is the bong bonga right here. You know what I mean?
Find to learn.
Yeah, and I gotta get on a plane. But I know.
Record store day, looking back, 3 records that you picked out of a hat. I mean, you pick those records out and you're like, I don't know about this. Somebody like you, a producer, you put the needle down and all of a sudden you hear something and there's a click that goes on. 3 records you could name that you're like super influential, that caught you off guard, that you never, that caught you
you got one of them right here. If I could hold up this one. Look at this, yo. First of all, the cover alone. I found this record. I found it kind of like maybe in the late 80s, but it was after De La Soul. He kind of looked like like Maceo, right? And maybe that's could have been why I bought it. You know what I mean? But found some incredible samples off this. One, of course, being Buck 50 off Ghostface, Supreme Clientele. Another record that was very unassuming, that you wouldn't think had Masterpiece on it. Basically, I think it's Southern Comfort, the Crusaders. You know what I mean? The Crusaders just, it's a lot of beats on those records, yo, a lot of sound. Of course, you know, a lot of people look at G-Funk, right, and think it's a West Coast sound, but George Clinton is actually an East Coast guy. And when you think of Parliament Funkadelic, that record, Flashlight, that when I first heard that, yo, it just changed my whole concept of what music could be. So those are definitely 3 records to go get. And if you want a rare one, it's Record Store Day. I'm gonna throw you with a super curveball. Go pick up Leonard Cohen, The Stranger song. To me, also one of the best lyrics written. You know what I mean? And some of the guitar playing, you know, I don't mind saying it now. His guitar tone, I sampled it before. And I just took this one note from his guitar and some bass notes that I played on my songs is actually a detuned note of his guitar notes. So you never know like what instrument or what artist is going to inspire you. So Record Store Day, I think, is important. I hope people go back to the record stores. You know, I was a geek that hung out in comic book stores and record stores, and I would never have found After the Laughter There'll Be Tears, a song by Wendy Renee, who, when she was out, you know, she never even had a full album completed. She just had a few singles. And now, you know, because of that sample and because of somebody discovering it, millions of people know her song.
As a producer, you're dealing with all the stages. What's your favorite stage? Discovery. Where's the juice at for you? Is it the polishing of it? Sampling. Discovery, sampling? Where's your favorite juice part of it? The whole process.
I think as a producer, for me, I'm a little more spoiled, so I love getting a new machine and deciphering it. So because of that process, because when I started producing, I got an SP1200 without the instructions. And so I had to figure out what this thing was and what do this thing do. And I spent about 2 days on it. And by the second day, you know what I mean, I was making ill beats. And eventually the song called Bring the Pain off of Method Man's first album was produced during that period of time. It came out later, but it was produced during that period of time of me playing with an SP1200. And ever since then, I continue to always keep buying more gear to just to unlock it. I'm very keen on unlocking what a piece of equipment could do.
We're in Miami. I gotta ask you some Miami stuff. There's not a whole lot of deep history to Miami's hip hop, but there really was too. Like the whole booty music.
Yeah,
like, that's a sound. That,
it's a
like,
sound.
It's a sound that no. What'd
you call it? What'd you call it? I mean,
booty music or bass. Miami bass.
It was called hip hop to us. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Look, Poison Clan was down from here, right?
Correct. Yes.
Come on. I mean, you know,
JT Money.
JT Money. You know, Uncle Luke and them pioneered a lot of success. I mean, if to be real, it led to trap though. You know what I mean? It's the foundation of it. You know, the 808 sound. You know, I mean, you got to go back to Africa Bambaataa, of course. Planet Rock was the foundation beat or the foundation rhythm, and then they may say that goes to that song Set It Off, which took it to a pop level. But no, Miami has been very, very strong in the foundation of hip hop and its growth. You know, through Luke Skywalker and his team, Poison Clan early on, but even through when Trick Daddy and them grabbed the mic and was giving us those Southern bangers. You know, Trina being one of the first female MCs. I think she's one of the first gold female MCs. So, no, Miami's giving this part, and we appreciate it. And I think you guys is really giving us a lot right now.
Gotta go?
What's up, yeah.
All right.